I doubt you'd have the tea I drink. Bit of peppermint tea there?
Yeah, I'm bound to have one. When I stayed at the motel, see, I grabbed them all.
Oh, you steal them?
Yeah, no, I don't steal them. They're complimentary.
Yes, okay, they're
I don't take the toilet paper. There you go.
Look at this.
You're up.
I'm being looked after. Scotty, early morning at Matamata for track work, leading into the New Zealand Bloodstock Kiwi. And when we talk about the Kiwi, Wexford Stable is the stable we need to talk to. 4 runners in the race. What has the last few weeks been like for the team?
Yeah, busy. Obviously, with the 4 horses, and they're all sort of going in their different ways and how you prepare them. It's definitely busy, but it's what we love. We love the excitement of big races, and it's why we get out of bed and in the middle of the night, as you've experienced this morning, and that's the excitement. It makes it a little bit easier, and this is our passion, this is our sport, this is what we love doing, and this is what Lance and myself, we thrive on this. We love the pressure of big races. Yep.
4 very different horses heading towards this race. How does your system work for the 4 horses in terms of keeping things really individualised?
Well, they're all individuals. They're like children, they're like athletes. We've got 4 in the race, we don't train them all the same. We spoke about Sathito. She doesn't take a lot of work, so she'll have a pretty light prep for the fortnight.
They're all different, she gets a special feed. She swims every afternoon. You've got to keep her moving, keep her pretty busy. But yeah, she's pretty much a perfect racehorse, this one.
Given that she's a home breed, she's not a horse that you picked out at the yearling sale, when you look at her physically, what do you like the most about her?
You'd buy her. So, you look at her, she could play first 5/8. So, yeah, you're just looking at, you've just got to be athletic, quality of bone. I think, you think of all the good horses over the years that you've seen. The one thing about every good horse, they've got a good head on them. Even fillies, they're reasonably strong. She's got a good deep girth, short cannons, good hind leg, good hip to tail. That's what we look for.
Checkmate, he's a big, tall, athletic horse. The run last week just topped him off. He's going to it's a matter of keeping them sound and keeping them mentally peppy and wanting to gallop out. And, this is the back end of it. This is where you can quickly send them over the edge. So, we want to try and keep him light and bright.
So a couple of things I want to touch on with him. You talk about a horse and you use the word scope. What does that mean?
Length. He's got the size, he's got the length. So, when we're looking at a yearling, size and scope's the first thing we look at. Well, that's just what we sort of like to buy. He's certainly got all of that. In fact, we probably don't, he's big enough. I'm 15.3, just to give you an idea.
And you also mentioned that as a type, he's still quite immature.
Yeah,
so when you're looking at him, how do you see that? Is that physically? Is that mentally?
Yeah, physically, pretty much. Look. I'd say physically and mentally. But physically, when you stand behind him, he's quite a narrow horse, and he's only going to get better in time. He's got the big frame, but he certainly hasn't filled it out yet. We're very pleased with the way he came through his run the other day, where it hasn't knocked him. And we were a little bit apprehensive of the 2-week backup, but it's certainly not going to be a problem to him.
Hanky Alpha, she's a filly that gets quite excited and gets above herself really quick, so she's going to probably do a bit of work in the fortnight in between.
So one thing that I thought was really interesting with her when I saw her on race day and when she came into the mounting yard is I think she has a lot of qualities of horses that you see run over those shorter trips.
Yeah.
So if you described her physically...
We won't get run over here. Yeah, she's always in a hurry to do things, but she's sort of, she's a bit thicker set. She's built, I'm not saying like a weightlifter, but she's a lot stronger, if you know what I mean. And that's probably, we think that probably next season you're going to find that she's probably only going to want to run 1,200, 1,400 max. Time will tell, but that certainly that's the sort of type of filly she is.
And I think characteristically she shows that a little bit too, wanting to get on with things quickly.
Always been very goey right from the You know, right from the very beginning when she started to gallop on the track, she got up sides with a mate and wanted to do everything in a hurry. But she's starting to do things pretty good now, and the other day we're pretty pleased with the way she relaxed, and she's certainly going to do the job well over 1500. She's going to relax enough where if she gets the trip, she's going to finish off.
Sought after with getting a temp, like we mentioned earlier. You know, he's going to have to do the work on the track, so he's going to do a lot of work. You know, he's going to work up at Ellerslie on Thursday and then have a good hit out on the Tuesday. So he'll be a lot different. He'll be quite a lot more intense workload going in to have him fit. We're not having a run for probably 2 months going in.
He's got size, he's got scope.
He's telling us he doesn't really want us to enter our box right now.
He's saying, I've done my work for the morning, but usually he's a pretty kind horse. But look, he's got a good deep girth, plenty of length about him. He's a horse that, look, we were thinking of running him last week. He had a setback. He spiked a temperature probably about 2.5 weeks ago. So he's going to go into this race without a run for quite some time.
I think it's quite interesting, the behaviour that we're seeing with him, because I think with any horse it's really important to read their behaviour and what they're trying to tell you, and you know, he's basically trying to tell us right now, get out of my space.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Look, he's not far away from getting another feed. He's worked this morning, he's been fed, but he knows it's not far from getting another one, and he's saying, you're not going to have any of it, that's going to be all his. But look, he is a kind horse generally, he's just a little bit grouchy.
Beautiful morning, Jane, anyway, you nailed it. Hey Dee, morning Shaz. Good morning, Glenn.
You normally watch them walk about there?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're a bit old-fashioned and try and listen to them and or every little part of it, you know, rather than just watching from afar.
What are you looking for when you watch them go past you every morning?
What are we looking for? The reason Lance and I get out of bed for is looking for elite athletes. You know, we're looking for that next champion. I think that's what you're doing it for, isn't it? Yep. Yeah. we want a champion, eh?
Well, we've had, you know, it's like a lot of trainers get a lot of good horses. And Andrew's, you've probably trained the best one, but what's a good horse?
Lance has ridden a lot more champions than I've trained.
But we've all been associated with good horses. We haven't had a sunline.
No.
You know, to get out of bed. You know, imagine if all of a sudden you got a sunline. Just, you know, just be a wonderful thrill at our stage. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we hope we're going to find one.
Sort of harking back to the elite athletes, like they've got to have temperament, they've got to have sound legs, they've got to have constitution, they've got to eat, they've got to sleep, they've got to, if they have all those attributes and they've got a big ticker on them.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Take away barrier draws, take away the way the race is going to be run in New Zealand Bloodstock Kiwi. Out of your 4 horses, which ones tick the box with all those things you just spoke about?
Lance, which one do you think?
Look, probably the most reliable is Cethito.
Yeah.
She's the most reliable. She can take a posse, she breathes, she does everything 100%. And you know, if she draws a gate, she certainly brings her well into contention. Who's got the most ability? Andrew?
Maybe Checkmate. He has got the most potential. They've all got strong attributes. It's so hard to split them. So.
Should have been a politician, Andrew.
Yeah. But no, look, it's going to be so exciting, eh? Wow. It's what we get out of bed for.
Very diplomatic, the fence is probably the safest spot for Andrew.